Okay, I'm gonna come outside.
Yeah, we'll be in here for 45 minutes. So, just so you know.
Is there anybody in here?
Should we go to the bathroom?
This way, be like right in front of that.
Okay, thank you.
She says we'll be here for 45 minutes.
So typically on altars, you will see offerings. Basic offerings tend to be money, alcohol, and tobacco. Okay, now it depends on the spirit, right? The Bacala does not get alcohol. He's one of the few Loas that does not. And usually the alcohol type will change depending on the spirit. Legba likes rum, Ogun back there likes gin. But the reason you leave money and alcohol and tobacco, you're about to ask a favor, or you need them to help you, or you just really like them. And that's a typical gift, right? Most people like money, most people like alcohol. Plus before 1950, everyone smoked like chimneys. Papa Legba also in New Orleans voodoo is fairly friendly, at least as far as some spirits go. He sits between the living and the dead. He's a crossroads spirit, and so if you want to talk to any of these lower spirits, right, say you want to talk to Yemaya, or you want to talk to your mother who's passed away, anybody that's on the other side, you have to make him happy first, right? But you're mixing Yoruba beliefs, which is Ifa, you're mixing some Fawn beliefs, which was a close cultural group over there, as well as you're mixing in Senegambia and Congo and other areas and their ideas. On top of that, you've got Catholicism, a little bit of Wiccan mixed in there, a little bit of Native American ideas, like you had the Chitimacha and the Homa and the Natchez. The Homa, by the way, are still around. You can email them. They hang out in Chalmette. But what that means is you kind of have a hodgepodge of ideas going on. The idea of the Catholicism, there are certain rituals in New Orleans, which if you listen to the chants will literally be something from Psalms or Proverbs. Gree-grees are made a lot in New Orleans. Now that's kind of getting into hoodoo at that point, and we'll talk a little bit later about hoodoo versus voodoo. But one of the things you can add to a gree-gree bag, which is a little piece of cloth that you fill it with different items and you carry it around with you. It's like a little spell. Another cool thing in this corner, this sketch right there, that is what her house looked like when she lived in it. So her daughter's house still exists, but her house, unfortunately, was bulldozed in like 1903. So the house that's currently on her old property is from 1905. The reason we have a pretty detailed sketch of the house as she lived in it came from the tax records. Used to be you had to draw people's houses, let you know how much to tax them. So how real is Laveau? She paid taxes. And now an interesting thing that you'll find in New Orleans as well is that we have like representations and paintings of her all over the place. Historically, we do not know what this lady looked like, okay? She never had a portrait made during her lifetime. She never had a photograph taken, even though she died in 1881, so like she could have had a photograph, one of those, old-timey ones you had to sit still for. We have a kind of a vague description. We know that she was tall, that she was beautiful, that she was part African and part French, and that she would always wear the tignon, which is the 7-point head wrap you see here. The closest thing we have to what she looked like in life. We do have a painting of her daughter. So her second oldest biological kid, and I say biological because she adopted a bunch of children too, is named Marie Philomene Glapion. And so that first painting in the hallway there with the braids and the black, that's, she's wearing the dress there, that is Philomene Glapion, Laveau's daughter. So it gives you an idea of like a close relationship of hers. This is one type of gree-gree, it's not the only type of gree-gree. Gree-gree, in sort of its base definition, is like a magical item that affects things. So this is considered gree-gree. To some extent, you could say a voodoo doll is gree-gree. You can also say a specific prayer and light incense, and I've been told that can be gree-gree as well. So it's sort of this power that exists. So the idea, it's a great, great bag. And one of the things they talk about in New Orleans, if you talk to some practitioners, is the idea you take white magic, you take black magic, you mix it together, you get gray. Now that being said, gree-gree bags are a real old practice, okay? They predate any African and French person meeting each other. The oldest writing we have about these little bags being used, they used to be called something else, dates back to 1620, and that's the English talking about it, right? Not the Africans, and so you get the idea that's probably hundreds of years older than that, honestly.
Yeah, it's an ancient practice.
So, in early 1900s in New Orleans, they would have all been the same type of cloth. They used to use plaid cloth. The reason we color code them now is the shops. It's easier to organize them and sell them if you color code them, especially when they all get mixed up. You're like, where did the love bags go? I don't know.
And that's a little bit of the witchcraft blended in, because witchcraft is highly relied on colors.
Okay, yeah.
It is, like each color represents something.
Yeah, and at least in the system we have here in the museum and some of the other shops nearby, green is money, blue is success, red is love, white typically is to like uncross or like cancel a spell out if you think you've been cursed or hexed. Or any sort of thing like that. But some of the things you might find in these bags, cowrie shells is a big ingredient. There's a wealth symbolism to cowrie shells. Sometimes you'll find some of the oils you see in the back in there. There's a thing called fast luck oil, as well as uncrossing oil. Again, if you think you've been hexed, you might use some uncrossing oil. Individuals that are voodoo in the city, if they're sick, they don't mention the name of the illness out loud. Saying the illness out loud gives that illness power. So again, it's what you say can manifest things. And so yeah, the idea that you could take a voodoo doll, shove a pin in it, and make somebody hurt somewhere, well, yeah, you can do that, but that's liable to backfire on you, so it's not really anybody's first idea. And that's very New Orleans-y, by the way. In Africa, voodoo dolls were not used that way, or at least to begin with. So I'm going to point some things out in this case here. You notice you got dolls from all over the world in our case. The Egyptians would do doll magic, the Greeks would do doll magic. There was a lady in town, she wrote a book about doll magic in New Orleans and added some other spells from around the world. It's like over 200 pages. And in her introduction, she's like, yeah, I couldn't fit everything in here, and then I need another book. So, yeah, you get an idea, it can get quite complicated. Marie Laveau banishing spell goes like this. You take a doll, okay, you have somebody in your life that you want them to never speak to you again. So you write the name of the person on a piece of paper, you pin it to the doll, you then put the doll into a bottle, and you fill that bottle with a thing called Four Thieves vinegar, a specific type of vinegar. Then my favorite part is you take the bottle after it's soaked for a minute and you chuck it into the Mississippi River. And as fast as that bottle goes down the river, that person's going to leave your life and never bother you again.
Right now, we're in the historic Voodoo Museum, which is kind of disheartening. I love New Orleans, but everyone running it is European. You see, not only the culture, but the spirituality has been appropriation. And that has to do with the modern day gentrification. You see, you may have been miseducated, so you might fear it, but you have to get in touch with the traditional African spirits. See, I've done ceremonies of Santeria in Cuba, and I'm trying to get more in touch with my ancestors of Yoruba.
Well said. I like that. Anything you want to say to my viewers?
My name is Larry Dorsey Jr. The name is the same as the social media handle. Sending out love to everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. Good job. You here, Marie? Thank you for helping all those people, Marie. And taking in all the children. Awesome. Rest in peace. Marie Laveau would do her rituals right down from her house.
That's fantastic.
Look at this one. Right now, we're walking the ground Marie Laveau walked. It's called the Voodoo tree. They claim it's over 500 years old, and people leave offerings. But this is where she would dance and have a snake and do readings and rituals for people. Can we see you, Marie? This is where the vampires were first brought into New Orleans with the casket girls. They say they see vampires on the roof. I'm gonna walk down this way and see what we can see. The top attic floor is boarded up. But people say they see the vampires on the roof and they jump and fly. Ursuline convent. See any vampires, Michelle?
No, look at that.
I don't think we're really gonna be able to see much more. They got this wall. Ooh, I wonder if I can get to peek through this gate. No, you can't peek through it. That was a bad move. You can't peek through it. But you can see you can't peek through the gate. But you can see the boarded up window. Waiting for something to walk on the roof. We're waiting for the vampires.
Waiting for what?
They're supposed to be vampires.
Waiting for the vampires.
They're
You're
supposed
too early. You got about 2 hours. 2 hours on the dot.
Okay.
Hey, don't get ran over. Ooh, you can't see that. Alright. Creepy. I guess we need to go back this way. You see one?
Alright.
We'll look from the front. Too.
It is not only the oldest building in the French Quarter, but the I know.
Hi, baby.
He's laughing at you.
You don't like me, I don't
It
think.
looks like he's laughing at you.
Maybe there's a vampire here.
And they brought over the first one.
It's the story of the casket girls.
They got their name because of a huge wooden box filling all their worldly possessions on the inside. These girls were promised to the rich dashing Frenchmen near the city. Do you realize that they weren't so rich, unlike today? So the girls were fasting and upset. But you and me too. If you just spent 6 months of your life trapped in the decks of the ship, you have to below so small. 300 of the 1,200 ladies that got on the ship. Well, was told it was bad luck for any of the live women to be on the top deck of those. All the girls, they stopped in Mobile, Alabama. And they heard so many horror stories about the ship. when they what seems so pop into your mind as you're say it's a touchy subject. The public in the city is calling the what? Here's my problem. They have a million
There's the roof. I don't see any vampires. I see a creepy sky.
carpenter and y'all can't get your stairs fixed. You are the person on the Now you might have 3 nights modern new ones.
Are there any vampires here?
That is exactly why the nuns locked her.
Theater here on our left. It's one of the oldest theaters in the country. It's also considered the most haunted theater in the world.
Wow.
Been over 40 confirmed ghosts. I don't know how you confirm it. There's a group of people. Historic Preservation Hall.
That's haunted too.
One of the oldest, most famous bars in the world.
Oh, that's
Black
jumpy.
shop. Really cool place. Good place to get hurt. This is Bourbon Street. Good. So, yeah, so you can see all the crazy down there. Right? Then downriver you get the fire. Named after a famous pirate that lived down here, John the Beat. At one point he was so powerful, he had his own island, and he had a bigger naval fleet than the U.S. government.
Oh, wow. This is the LaLaurie Mansion.
He finds that area locked. He asks them, he breaks down the door. He finds 7 human beings in different states. All enslaved human beings.
That's what.
Hung, suspended from the ceiling with chains under their arms and shackled by their feet. Others, shoulder harnesses on.
Is there anybody here from the LaLaurie Mansion?
All of it.
Is Madame LaLaurie here?
One man has a also on his head. The judge tries to get these people judged.
Did you hurt people, Madam?
Now the scene changes from let's put out the fire. We're built with snow and it's been hard. I'm going to turn all that out, turn it all down.
I heard you were crazy. You can talk into my camera. Gabrielle. Is your name Gabrielle? Rail? Are you up on the rail? Can you show yourself to me on the rail? Were you murdered by Madame LaLaurie? Can you tell me your name?
Right down here, I think is where they said kitchen or something was. And that's where
Like there's like a courtyard here and there's windows up there too. Can you wave to me from the window? Ooh, I heard something. It was a woman's voice. Can you say that again, ma'am? I heard you. Can you talk to me? Are you up there? Is this part of it too?
I think so. Because he was standing right there and pointing over here and said something about the kitchen.
Yeah, because it was supposed to be huge.
That's where the kitchen was on fire.
Did Madame LaLaurie hurt you? Ah, but it looks different. Did she kill you? Ooh, can you say that again? Oh, it stopped. I didn't hit a button. Is that you making my spirit box stuff? That's weird. My spirit box just completely stopped and I didn't hit any buttons. Yeah. Do you not like the spirit box? Do you want me to leave? Do you not like the visitors? Do you not like people knowing what you did? Oh, here's the... So here's the front door. I heard you. Is this the entrance? Can you tell me your name? How did you die? Can you look out the windows? Can you open the door? All right. Well, thank you for talking to me. I wish you peace. Goodbye. Can you say goodbye? I leave this time for everybody who suffered here. And I wish you peace. That's for you. Thank you. And your dad's here. It really gets going at night.
So in general on bourbon, the further you go upriver towards canal, the crazier it's going to get. Downriver, the quieter. I'll let you pick your poison, but I usually recommend that you don't go past St. Louis Street after about 10:30, 11 o'clock. It can get pretty seedy up there.
Very nice.